happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to today's Fun Friday from the Field Career Chat. We have a great panelist today, Ray from Truck Country. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Gina, I'm going to hand it over to you to get the ball rolling on a fun Friday.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for joining this session with NICC College and Career Connection, a member of the Iowa Intermediary Network. Ray, we're happy to have you on with us today. Why don't you start by just telling us about your background, your education, and what you do today.
All right. Well, so I'm Ray Clark, and my position with the company the title is Director of Training and Development. So to give you a little bit of my background, which is kind of cool for me and to share with everybody, is that I don't have any kind of degree to really oversee, two large training facilities in a very large company that I work for. So again, the purpose of this as I go through it is to try to get you students to understand and know that it doesn't always take a degree. It just takes some really good leadership skills and the want to work and succeed to really advance yourself in a career. So to give you a background of myself, I am a import to the Midwest. So I'm from Northern New York, and I literally just went to a trade school / tech school, Ohio Diesel, to become a diesel mechanic. Worked through the years as a diesel mechanic, and then kind of took a jump into the service management position. And I've been in the Freightliner world for over 14, 15 years now. And like I said, been out here in the Midwest for the past 8 years. And it's been a really good, successful road. So the skilled trades, and that's why I got a lot of passion for this, is that if you think that you can fix things with your hand and your mind, it's definitely a good career path. It's not the greasy, grimy thought process that everybody kind of thinks as a diesel mechanic. But it's in today's world, it's the technology is crazy out there. We've got trucks with radar systems on it that automatically apply brakes, so that if a truck driver kind of gets too close or they have cruise control set to the car in front of them, it'll automatically apply the brakes. The driver really doesn't have to have input. We've got sensors and lights that go off, so if they go left or right a little bit, it lets the driver know that the whole truck is kind of left or right. So they're as technically advanced as the cars that are on the road today too.
Excellent. Thank you for that intro. So you kind of talked about it a little bit, but can you tell us more about the environment where you do your work?
Yeah. So the environment itself, and like I said, if you get into the dealership world, it's nice because the opportunity is of staying ahead of the technology curve. There's training opportunities and stuff, but the environment is a very shop orientated, and it could be anywhere from a 4-bay shop to a 40-bay shop. So there are heavy components and stuff, but again, what a lot of people think of with big trucks, big engines, stuff like that is all those parts and stuff are heavy, but there's always tooling or equipment to turn around and help assist our technicians with doing any of that. So as far as that goes, and yes, I don't want it to think that it's a nice, clean job, but if you go into any or most of our dealerships, you'll notice that technicians do get dirty still. I mean, it is part of the job, but it's to the point where they work in a very clean environment, though, very safe environment. I think state-of-the-art buildings and equipment that the company furnishes for everybody really takes firsthand for the employees here.
So you're a training manager and you have diesel technicians, clearly. What are some other career opportunities with Truck Country, Ray?
So that's the thing is Truck Country, the size of it is actually under a company called McCoy Group. So we've got a really large umbrella. So a lot of people don't realize the opportunities that we have. And it's not just here in the Midwest. We actually can go coast to coast if we wanted to. So underneath the McCoy Group, we have Foodliner, Questliner, and WW Transport. So we have a transportation side of it. So there's opportunities in logistics, in truck driving, in fleet technicians, all the way into accounting and office positions. So also in Truck Country, though, the same thing when you look at a dealership. You have service advisors, parts people, salespeople, office people. So there's lots of opportunities within Truck Country and the dealership itself.
That's a lot of different opportunities. What are some basic skills, or as we refer to them, employability skills, that you would hope any employee would have when they start out with you?
So this one really hits home with me because I've got a 16-year-old son, and I'm very adamant about making sure that you're polite and respectful, right? When spoken to, make eye contact during conversations, and speak clearly and be heard. So working with we have high schoolers come in here. We do an Explorer program. So I work with a lot of high school students to begin with anyways and stuff. So it is pretty cool we get to see kind of, those employability skills being used. One of the things that I probably can't stress enough, even to our own employees, put the phone down. That doesn't have to always rule our world, especially when you're in an employment type situation, right? TikTok, Snapchat, all that stuff can wait till break times or lunchtime. And again, I think as you kids go out there and start getting into where you'll do mock interviews and stuff like that, that'll be heard across every place you go.
So I'm going off script here, Ray. Do you have rules, or are there repercussions for using your phone or your devices when you shouldn't be in your workplace?
Yeah, we actually took it down to a point where we put a box that as soon as our technicians, so they're our own employees coming into our training center, as soon as they walk through that classroom, they put their phone in a box. And the only time they were able to get them was during break time or lunch break. Now, we try to keep the responsibility level kind of more on an adult side of it. So we've broken that away a little bit until it gets to be a hassle again. And we give them the responsibility of, hey, just leave your phone down. It's, you're being paid here to learn, a skill set. So, but we have had the point where the repercussions are, it's kind of like one bad egg ruins it for the rest of the group. As soon as one of the students or techs uses or abuses their phone privilege, then everybody's got to put their phone back in a box.
That's great lesson for all of us, I think, to hear. So please put your questions in the chat box. We're looking forward to answering those for you. So you mentioned your training center, Ray. Let's talk
Yes.
a little bit more about that and what you do there, and what some other opportunities might be for education and training for students, since you have such a wide variety of careers available.
Yeah. So here at the training center, it's in Dubuque, Iowa, and it's, the primary focus is for our diesel technicians. So truck, chassis, and engine training comes on. And we also do a lot of administrative, like soft skills, coaching. I do service advisor classes, some foreman classes. We have a lot of our logistic meetings over here. So like our transportation logistics, those guys will come over and do some training here. We have sales come over and do walk arounds and training and stuff. So it's a very large facility. It's got 6 open bays that are probably can fit 3 trucks deep in it. So very large area. We've got 3 running engines. And then we also have a very large classroom and conference room upstairs with 2 additional classrooms downstairs. So we can do quite a bit here at the training center in Dubuque. And again, same as our sister company out in Indianapolis, we've got some good opportunities. So that's one of the other things too, is I wanted to share the opportunities when you look at a large scale company, the opportunities for not only career advancement, but to kind of relocate or move around a little bit, and the opportunities. So if I could give a little bit of advice as we're looking forward, as you guys look at your career, and do your homework when you're going into an interview, know the company, know the size of them, know kind of their platform and everything. Just don't go in there looking for a job. Don't take this the wrong way, but kind of McDonald's is a job, right? That's where you get your feet wet, get into the world and stuff, and you start putting some money in your pocket. But when you really want to make a career, make sure you know and understand that company and the background and the history of it, so that you can, you want to know who you're going to work for, and don't be afraid to ask them questions also.
That is great advice. How long is your training program, and how does how does that work? Are students in the training program like working and getting paid while they're training, or what's the setup for that?
So we have two paths of training. So we have what's called our traditional. So let's say I'm a very mechanically inclined, good aptitude for fixing things, and I've already maybe come from the auto world as a technician. So all of our technicians have to be trained and certified. So really, it kind of never stops. I mean, it's always going. If something new comes out, we have to certify and train our technicians on it. So that's the traditional path. And we set schedules accordingly, kind of based on our needs, right? If we've got 300 and some odd technicians between Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois, we keep track of which ones need what certifications, and we make sure those classes are available. Now, the other one is our certified apprenticeship program, and you have to be employed with us, but that's a very structured, laid out 3-year program. So really, come to work at any one of our dealerships and honestly be able to acknowledge and sign your career for the first 3 years with us. And we'll give you 27 weeks worth of training. And in the first 6 months, we kind of break it into that skill set level, send you back for 6 months. We have coaches on the floor that you work with. And then in year 2, we start pushing into a professional level certification. And yes, you're paid the whole time. So that's the cool thing with our apprenticeship program. We call it TTP, Technician Training Program. And so you're here at the training center for a couple of weeks, and you'll go back to on the shop floor a couple of weeks, and sometimes it's months at a time. We lengthen it a little higher and longer as your certification level and skill set goes up. So again, 3 years, all we ask is you stay with us, and it is a contract in a sense. So you're kind of signing on, and we put some number values to it and stuff. But we have a good program where it's, like I said, it's structured. You know where you're going to be at in 3 years. We have a tool program and reimbursement with that during that same time. So there's a lot of advantage points to that.
We have some great questions coming in from the chat, so thank you for those. Let's get to some of those.
All right.
What's the job outlook for all the different opportunities with Truck Country?
The job outlook, honestly, by far, and I'm going to take this beyond our company. If you look at the transportation world during the pandemic, during COVID, everything that's gone, wheels have not stopped turning. I'm going to tell you that if you're skilled or want to get in the skilled trades, especially the transportation side, we never close up doors. Yes, we limited our travel. The dealerships never closed up doors. The technicians never stopped working. So the opportunity like that and the outlook on it, it's never going to stop. Trucks have to turn. And I know there's a lot of hype out there right now about electric trucks and how is that going to, is that going to take over the industry? I'm going to tell you that from what I know and understand, electric trucks are never going to be able to go coast to coast. So there's always going to be a combustion type engine that's going to be running. And if it's mechanical, it needs to be fixed and it needs hands put on it. So the outlook for me is probably never ending. I mean, it's a great area of career.
And with a company like yours, like you mentioned, the opportunities are endless as long as you're interested and willing to maybe relocate.
Yes, exactly. One of the things I kind of forgot to mention is on top of the transportation and the Truck Country dealership world, we also have 16 John Deere construction and forestry dealerships. So we just took another acquisition on. So again, the Midwest is very heavy. I mean, from northern Wisconsin, Michigan, all the way to the Ohio area into Kentucky now with opportunities for employment.
That is really interesting. So if you're really interested specifically in like the technician career, what kind of classes should you be looking at for high school?
This is where everybody kind of overlooks it and says, what do I need to know, right? I'm just picking up wrenches, I'm fixing things. I'm going to tell you that probably math and science, math especially, because a very skilled diagnostic tech is looking at a lot of numbers and parameters and doing math equations in his head very quickly with an engine running. Same thing with typing and keyboard. I know the kids nowadays can thumb the heck out of a text message, but boy, you put a keyboard in front of them and they start to slow down. So I'm going to tell you that definitely math and typing would be two of the biggest skill sets for us really to become a technician. And I think it's overlooked.
That is great to know as these students look at what they should be taking probably in the next few years and start planning for that. So I
Yep.
think we've heard a few things about what you like about your career, but maybe we can expand on that. And then is there anything that you really don't care to do, but is part of the job?
Well, I'm going to tell you, like for me now where I'm at, I'm going to tell you that there's not much that I don't like in the job at all. As a service manager, I can tell you that it was the numbers crunching and kind of the month end and profit making that was always kind of the part that I didn't care about. As a technician, the best thing as a technician is the sense of accomplishment. A truck comes through the door, it's broke down. Knowing that you can fix something and get it back on the road. So you take everything that we purchase, right? I don't care if it's from Amazon or whatever, but when we start complaining about the delays in shipping and everything, remember there's a big backline to that, where maybe it was a truck that got broke down. So as it comes through the shop and you fix it and you get it back on the road and you find out mom and dad received those early Christmas presents already because somebody fixed the truck. So that sense of accomplishment is probably the biggest thing that makes the job worthwhile.
Fantastic. Do we have any additional questions from our listeners today? This has been a great conversation, I think. Is there anything else you want to add, Ray, or any final? I know you said you had an open house last night. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and those opportunities? And then we do have a question about pay, and then we'll wrap it up from there.
Okay. So yeah, our open house last night went very well. Jolene here, my administrator, put a bunch of invites out and we just opened the doors to the training center. One of the things that I would encourage any of you guys as you're looking into it, we do have some job shadow opportunities, but one of the things that I've started to change over is having them job shadow at the training center a little bit, because we've heard it from several of our newer hires that start the training in with us after being employed saying, oh man, I wanted to be a technician. I wanted to work on big trucks and stuff. They love the floor aspect. And then the comment once they get into a week or 2 weeks of training is like, I didn't realize it took this much to know to become a technician. So I would encourage you guys to reach out to us here at the training center. And if you wanted to shadow some point in time, feel free to, like I said, reach out and try to set up a shadow here to see what it takes to be a technician, because that would probably help you make some career decisions. Because some people, I'm not saying I'm not a school guy myself, I didn't like it, but when it's an interesting subject, you tend to put more value into it and you jump into it. But there is a lot more training to it than just the nuts and bolts side of it. So like I said, that would be the one thing I really encourage anybody is to make sure they do that. So the open house pretty much did just that. Open the door up and we had all our training aides out on the floor. Our instructors were here. We even had some of our apprenticeship techs here being able to talk very open and freely. So it went very well. 30 plus different kids and parents come through the door.
That's a great turnout. So look for those in the future. I'm guessing you don't have an
Yes.
age on that, right? I mean, these students would be welcome next time you have an open house.
Yeah. Any age limits open. We really open the door to the public itself just to see what we do as a company and what our training programs are all about. Yep.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about average pay and benefits. And then, and also about opportunities for ladies who are
Yes.
interested in the field.
All right. So
Great
I'm
question.
going to jump on that. And I'm going to tell you that we're starting to build, it's small, but we're seeing more young ladies come through the door with this. So we've got 3 or 4 within the company. Some have come and gone, but some of them are making their way up through the ranks really. And we've got a smaller shop, and I know she's even looked at kind of as a foreman and advisor from time to time. So it's going very well with the ladies. Don't be afraid to jump into it. On the pay side of it and the benefits, it like every larger scale company, full major medical, 401 with matching numbers and stuff like that. The average pay is anywhere from a start out of 16 and up, depending on your experience, all the way up to well over $35 an hour or more. I can tell you that we've probably got 5-year and up employee technicians that are expert certified. And we kind of joke with them a little bit, but they're turning well over $100,000 a year. So imagine a career with a little bit of investment, 5 years into it, and you're turning over $100,000. Now, granted, it comes with work ethics. You have to put the time in to do that. And again, I call it knuckle busting. But some of these guys are working off their laptops as diagnostic technicians. And so that's where that's where I say it's a very technical field nowadays. So don't think of yourself because maybe you can't turn nuts and bolts all the time, but if you're very savvy in the world of technology nowadays, there could be some avenues opened up. But I also joke around and say, hey, just drive through any one of our dealerships in the employee parking lot and look what our diesel technicians are driving for vehicles. That'll tell you what they pay.
We've heard that from other employers with great earning potential. So
Yep.
thank you, Ray. I think the questions that came in today were fantastic. Thank you all for our students who came up with those questions. And thank you, Ray, for your time. We appreciate you joining us. So
Yeah,
Stephanie,
thanks for the invite.
you're welcome. Stephanie, any final thoughts?
Nope, we are good. I will get the recording out to the schools that need it ASAP. Thank you, Ray.
Yes, thank you for
Have a
having
good
me.
day.
Yep, we'll see everybody.
Bye-bye.